Hi there, welcome to Core Leadership Sessions. I am Maria Cast with Core Leadership Development, and I want to welcome you to my monthly training whereby I will be interviewing different leaders in the community who will be sharing their best practices, their insights, and their leadership principles that help them to become a success, because they really want you to be a success in both your business and your career. So I encourage you to check back here at this Core Leadership Sessions channel and gain some insight and definitely get some value from them, because they are here for you and want to pour into you, as do I. So enjoy this next Core Leadership Session. Hello, Core community, and welcome to another Core Leadership Sessions. I'm so excited to bring to you Melissa Geska of U.S. Sealing. She is the president of U.S. Sealing Corp. And I got to tell you, this is the first time I'm meeting her, but I feel like I've known her because I keep bumping into people who are telling me, you must meet Melissa Geska. She's awesome. And I've read a couple articles and I thought to myself, this is a gal who I wanted to bring to you because she really has a forward-thinking way about her leadership. And that's why she's well respected in this community, within U.S. Sealing and outside of U.S. Sealing and in the contracting community. So I know that she has some insights that she's going to share with you in our session today, and I thank you very much for that. And just wanted to say too that, you know, anything that you're learning today, you want to implement ASAP to move you forward in your business. So welcome again, and thank you so much.
Having me.
You got it. I appreciate you sending me that article from the Real Estate Journal, because it really helped me to get a pulse on who you are. And I'll tell you that what stood out to me right away was the piece towards the end where you said that you are blessed, you and your husband are blessed to have a staff who really buy into your vision and will work hard at something that's even bigger than themselves. And you know, I truly believe that does not happen by accident. So what I would love to know from you is, what do you think has contributed to that feeling here at U.S. Sealing?
Well, I do believe that we have cultivated a culture of gratitude, and it's an appreciation for not only what we've been blessed with in our lives, but how we can bless others. And so through working with our staff and you know, working with our contracting community, we've tried to recognize ways that we can help each other. So even when we're on job sites, you know, what are ways that we can help our coworkers? What are ways that we can help other subcontractors? You know, just having a bigger sense of what I do is impactful to not only the project but the process, and that they have to take an ownership stake in their contributions, and recognizing that there's a ripple effect. And so we've really tried to just be open and honest about the impact of that and the importance of that, and just that we're looking out for one another, and we're really we're always thinking of the bigger picture.
You know, that sounds to me like it's serving others. Like you're really expecting that you do it yourself, and you're expecting it from your employees, and it's just rippling down to the employees and throughout the community.
Yeah, and I've always tried to do that. One thing is I'll never ask anybody to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. So my employees have seen me laboring on project sites, and that's a non-traditional role for an executive in this industry, but for me it was really important to connect with them, for them to recognize that I'm just like them, that I am committed to service, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get the project done correctly and to serve our customers in the ways that they expect and deserve to be treated. So for me to be laboring on a job site sends a message to them, and I think that there's a level of respect that I've earned through that process. You know, I'm not above cleaning a bathroom in this office. I know I'm not above anything. So I think that they get to understand that whole concept of service when they see from the top down that that's a philosophy that we really practice on a daily basis.
I love that. So tell me, was that just in your nature? Have you always been that way?
I think it's in my nature, but I think I've also had the opposite experience through past employment. And some of the people that I've worked for, I feel like they had a different approach to that. And I saw that the culture at times could be degraded from a resentment that builds, and a separation among the executives and the staff. And that's counterproductive. I've seen it really harm organizations and almost rip them apart. So it always became, you know, evident to me, having been a past employee, that if I were ever given the opportunity to be an employer, that I would have a different approach.
So that really connects with what you said in the interview as well about growth, your growth opportunities, and what you do to put yourself in growth opportunities, which I believe helps you to become your authentic self and the authentic leader that you're meant to be.
Absolutely. I'm very humbled always, and I did learn this partially from working with my husband. My husband's the type of person where he goes on a project site is he'll watch other people, and it's not to scrutinize necessarily what they're doing or to judge what they're doing or critique it. It's to learn from it. And I watch him ask great questions, and why did you approach it that way? And at first, if people don't know him, it can be a little off-putting or a little unnerving. But once they get to know him and get to understand the root cause of his interest, I think it makes them also feel appreciated and respected. And I think that he validates their sense of ownership on what they're doing and that they are an expert in their field. So if the owner of the company is asking you, how can I learn how to do what you're doing, because I think you're doing a great job, I think it's really empowering to the organization as a whole.
Yeah. Well, and you know what I love about that is good leaders ask great questions, right? That's a book actually by John Maxwell, who's one of my mentors. But what I like about it is as he's asking those questions, he's showing the employees that he values them.
Absolutely.
Right? And he's using that opportunity for them to grow as well. Because when you ask questions of your employees, your staff, your fellow leaders, whoever it is, you help them to get introspective and really think about what's the answer and how do I understand how I'm doing this.
That's a big push for us right now within our organization. We're launching this year the USC Academy, and it's really an opportunity for our staff to learn from one another. And so in that process, we've empowered individuals who may or may not have been with the organization a long time, but are well-respected craftsmen and craftswomen. And so we're trying to put them in positions of leadership as an instructor to teach, their peers. And I think that shows them, it sends two messages. One, it empowers the individual that's doing the teaching and the leading, but it also empowers those that are not in that position that they can aspire to be in that position. And it shows them a pathway. So I think that is the other thing that we've done is tried to create a culture of constant learning, recognizing we all have something to learn, and we're all invested in the process that when we all learn, we are all better.
Yeah. So that brings me to the comment about putting yourself in the room, not being the smartest person in the room, putting yourself around people who are, because if you're sitting in a room and you realize, you know what, I'm really the smartest person in the room, quote unquote, you're not having that room for growth. So when do you realize, you know what, I need to move into a new area or understanding and build and grow myself and learn from those and listen to those that are ahead of me?
That wasn't an organic thing for me. I think coming to this industry, I think I came with a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, quite honestly. I felt as though I had to teach others that I knew what I was doing. And so I came from it from a position of insecurity because I wasn't yet comfortable with my depth of understanding or my technical competence. And I used to be the loudest person in the room. And I had a mentor pull me aside at one point. It was a woman who had also been in the industry, and she said, you need to learn how to listen and recognize that there's so much to learn if you just shut your mouth. And she had a very polite way of stating that. But it really allowed me to take a step back and recognize that. And I think when I have come now into a position of greater comfort and greater security in my role, I'm recognizing now that I don't need to speak. I need to listen. That's both with coworkers as well as clients, and really understand and hear what they're saying, and participate in active learning and active listening, where you're engaging in the sense of this is what I believe I heard you say. Is that correct? And I'm often surprised that what I think I heard was not in fact the case, and I'm corrected, and there's an adjustment there. And so I've tried to also teach staff to do the same thing. It's, you don't always have to speak. Sometimes it's more important to listen. And when I have meetings, I'm encouraging everyone around the table to speak. Sometimes it can be a little contentious because people are passionate, right? So they really want to share what they know and get others to buy into that. And my process has always been I want to surround myself with all of the information so that I can make an educated guess. And who better to help me make an informed decision than those who are truly competent at what they're doing and who are kind of smarter than me in those areas, because that's the guidance that I'm seeking.
Oh, yeah. So not necessarily people who are ahead of you in business, but people who are on your team that have better expertise.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's fantastic. I love that
Absolutely.
deeper knowledge on that one. So tell me, when that mentor of yours, when she said that, what was your next step? What did you do when you got that feedback? What did you then do with that feedback? Did you?
Well, after I licked my wounds, because
Yeah.
it hurt my ego
Right.
a little bit to
Right.
say, "Shut up,"
Yeah.
But it was a good thing to hear. I think that I just took a step back in reflection, and I think I just recognized it's going to be a process. So I didn't practice perfectly out of the gate, but I recognized that if I could just take it in bite-sized pieces and do it a little bit more, that it's kind of like a muscle. Once you're using it more, it becomes more. It becomes easier for you to go through the practice. And it's interesting now on the other side of that, and I'm still working, it's a daily practice that I continue to improve upon, and I'm not always great at it. But what I recognize now is when I'm in board meetings, you can tell who some of the loudest people are.
Yeah.
And so it makes me question, and I'm not inside of them, I don't know what their feelings are, but sometimes I start to ask questions. Do they really feel confident about that? I almost feel like it comes from a position of insecurity. So sometimes I recognize that those that speak the loudest are sometimes the people that feel the least secure in what they're believing or what they're saying.
Yes.
And sometimes there's greater strength in silence and greater strength in the solitude of that.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So did you take any courses on listening? I'm just curious, because if there's some core session followers out there who are saying, you know what, I know that's a piece of me that needs to change in order for me to be a better me. What can I do? What does that process look like?
Well, I believe often some of the best growth that I've ever had is just from practicing mindfulness and just being quiet and some, meditation and being silent. And the more that I am comfortable with that, I've gotten better at it. I've attended locally. There's some places locally that you can go and kind of plug into meditation practices, and I've actively done that. And for me, it was almost better than therapy, because what I found is the reason I wasn't quiet was because I was really unsettled, and the more settled I became, the stronger I became. And so when I tapped into that insecurity and worked through, okay, why do I feel the need to speak? Why do I feel the need to be busy, to do things? When I tapped into that, I kind of had a breakthrough in the sense that, okay, I need to just rest. I just need to be still.
Yeah. Okay, so and through that whole process, you're becoming more your authentic self.
I am.
Without a doubt.
I am, because it's not coming from a position of fear. It's not coming from a position of insecurity. It's coming from that still, quiet voice that you hear when you really take the time to be mindful and silent and still.
Yeah. So I'll share that that's something I have tapped into recently too, with meditation and mindfulness. It's been over the past couple months. So it's interesting that I'm interviewing Melissa today, and that this conversation is coming up, because it would be something I would want to share with you too. That mindfulness practice and meditation is as integral in you becoming your authentic self, right? And it's a growth process. So what I'm hearing from Melissa, and I know you all are too, is that piece of growth, constant growth, making sure that when you're learning something about yourself, well, first of all, let's start with being open to hearing from other people, being open to hearing where our places are for growth, stepping into that growth, right? And that helps you to become your authentic self. In serving others, we know that is key, is serving others, because that helps you to be a better leader, and it helps your people to see you as the leader they want to follow. So you really build your influence that way. So I really thank you. I have a feeling I'd like to do this again someday down the line. Maybe you'll be a repeat, because I think that our conversations, we could gain a lot more insight from you, Melissa.
Thank you.
And I know your goal is to be the well-respected, known as the most respected contractor in framing and in acoustical structuring as well in this community and beyond. And I truly believe that you're probably there. You don't realize it yet, but something tells me you're there. And so I encourage you to go on US Ceiling's website. It's usceilingcompany.com. Is that right?
It's usceiling.com.
usceiling.com, and we'll have it posted here for you. And know that Melissa was, congratulations, by the way, on your finalist in the Small Business Person of the Year through the Small Business Council. And look that up, because there's some videos about her. You can hear more from Melissa, and I appreciate you all being here. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next month.